Hello, and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. This video, we're going to keep looking at Khans of Tarkir. We're going to move on and look at Jeskai Monks, which is white, blue, red. Let's take a look at the deck list. So we've got 20 creatures, 7 instants, 4 sorceries, 2 artifacts, 1 enchantment, 26 lands, and we've got a mana curve off to the side there. So let's dive in and start looking at the contents of the deck. So Jeskai are basically the Spells Matters clan, and we'll see that a lot of effects that care about non-creature spells as we'll see as we look through the cards. So yeah, this is a kind of it's a nice mix of kind of like red-blue spells, but with a bunch of kind of like small, efficient, evasive creatures. It's kind of cool. I like it. I never got a chance to play kind of Jeskai physically on the table, which is a shame because I think I would have got on board with them. But anyway. So the foil face rare, again, this isn't, I sort of explained in the last video, this isn't the art that would have been in the deck. It would have had alternate art to, like, I guess, incentivize people to buy the Precon, because it would have been different art, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, the foil face rare is Sage of the Inward Eye. So 2, a blue, a red, and a white for a 3/4 flyer. It's a Djinn wizard as well, which is really cool. That like Djinns and Ifrits were all over the place in Khans of Tarkir, which is really cool. It's like not creature types you usually see that often. But yeah, so it's got 3/4 flyer, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creature you control gain lifelink until end turn. And yeah, there are a few non-creature spells in the deck, as we saw from the deck list, and you know, just obviously, promotes what the deck is all about. Casting non-creature spells and benefiting your creatures, and having this kind of, I guess, like harmony and synergy between the two, which is the whole Jeskai thing. So yeah, I think this is okay. Like 5 mana for 3/4 flyer. It's not, I think, great. It's not great core stats, even especially if it's in 5 different colors. But that ability is really, really strong. It sounds super greedy when I say this. It doesn't benefit from. If you cast multiple non-creature spells in a turn, because obviously lifelink doesn't stack. Would giving maybe like a power boost be be maybe too much? Maybe. But yeah, I think this is okay. I do get the feeling it feels more like a strong uncommon though, rather than a rare. But I think it's still okay. And again, I think it serves as a good kind of signpost for what the deck is trying to do. So we've got 2 Jeskai Elders, so 1 in the blue for a 1/2, has Prowess. So Prowess is I don't think it's the first time it would have shown, well, it's the first time it gets keyworded, but like this has been coded into sort of like blue and red creatures like for a while now. But getting a power on toughness boost whenever you cast a non-creature spell, like we've seen stuff like Kiln Fiend is the one that always jumps to mind. But this applies to all non-creature spells, so artifacts and enchantments can trigger it as well. So Prowess is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn, which is fine. And it's really funny because it used to be the Jeskai sort of clan keyword, and now it's kind of it's like a generic evergreen sort of keyword that gets used mostly in red and blue, which is good, because red blue as a combination always never really had like a shared keyword like other 2 color combinations do. But yeah, so I think this it's good, and obviously again promotes the playstyle of the deck, which is cast non-creature spells and then attack with your small creatures, which are now disproportionately stronger because you cast a bunch of spells. So whenever Jeskai Elder deals combat damage to play, you may draw a card, and if you do, discard a card. So it has a loot effect when it deals combat damage to play, which is fine on a 2 mana creature. So yeah, I think this is okay. 2 Jeskai Windscout, 2 in a blue for a 2/1 with flying and prowess. This thing now, pretty much they all have prowess, and they're just at different sizes with different abilities, so we can kind of rattle through them pretty quickly. Yeah, this is fine. It's just Windrake, isn't it, with 1 less toughness, but the potential to kind of pump up even more. So yeah, I think this is fine. A single River Wheel Aerialists, so 5 in a blue for a 4/5 flyer. It has prowess. Yep, so it's already like a fairly decently sized flyer, but it's going to get even bigger as you cast your spells, which is fine. I suppose it would be a bit of a skill test actually. You get all your prowess things down and keep hold of a handful of like non-creature spells, and then cast them, have like a single big turn, maybe. I don't know. I say, don't have much experience playing this kind of style deck with all the prowess triggers, so I'd really like to hear sort of people's comments if they've got actual play experience with how it went down. A single Whirlwind Adept, so 4 in a blue for a 4/2 with Hexproof and Prowess. So it's nice that it's got Hexproof, so it can be protected from when it gets all its boosts, I suppose, and sort of stay a bit safer. So yeah, this is fine as well. A single Jeskai Student, so 1 and a white for a 1/3 with Prowess. Yep, pretty much the most basic kind of creature you could have with prowess, I suppose. Yeah, it's fine, nice and defensive early on, and say if you have your big turn where you go Nova, then yeah, it can become obviously fairly chunky. 2 Seeker of the Way, 1 and a white for a 2/2 with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets lifelink till end turn. So, yep, kind of a smaller version of the oh god, what was it called? The Sage of the Inward Eye. I'm not really that familiar with like Khans cards, so I'm definitely going to forget like card names as I reference back to them, just because I didn't play it that much. But yeah, Secret of the Way, I think it's okay. Obviously, it's a bear with like 2 abilities, honestly. So yeah, this is okay. So casting 1 non-creature spell is going to pump it up to at least a 3/3 with lifelink, which is fine as well. So yeah, I think it's a good inclusion. Monastery Swift Spear. Now, I didn't play much of Khans, but I do know that this card has a bit of a legacy, or a reputation rather, just because it's so good for like 1 red mana. Like, before this, what we had, compare this, and it's not a fair comparison, but like Raging Goblin, which was one red mana for a 1/1 with haste. So Monastery Swift Spear, 1 red mana for a 1/2 with haste and prowess. So yeah, like just so good, like so good, like really really strong on common. Yeah, I know it has like such a reputation, and because it recently got recently Brothers War isn't that recent, but it got downshifted to common, I think, didn't it? I think. So yeah, it's been showing up in more decks, and I think in pauper formats and stuff, where it's sort of carved out a bit of I'm torn about formats. I have very little idea about what am I doing. What am I doing? It's just a good card, isn't it? It's just for 1 red mana. Like there's not much more you could ask for. Yeah, so you can swing on turn 1, and then it's going to just keep getting strong as you cast more spells throughout the game. So it can still stay a bit relevant. Yeah, it's fine. And having the extra point of toughness being a 1/2, I think really matters as well. Honestly. So yeah, I think it's a really really solid card. I would have liked to have at least 1 more in here, but yeah, it's fine. 2 Bloodfire Expert, so 2 in a red for a 3/1 with prowess, so pretty much the opposite of the Jeskai student. Yeah, it's fine. A single Warden of the Eye, so that's all the prowess creatures now, I think, by the way. So 2 a blue, red, and white for a 3/3. When it ends the battlefield, return a non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is okay. Maybe a little expensive at 5 mana. Again, across 3 different colours, just get instant sorcery or enchantment or an artifact back, I suppose. It is potentially getting anything back, and it is still a 3/3. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. A single Bloodfire Mentor, 2 in a red for a 0/5, so really chunky, honestly. You can spend 2 in a blue and tap. You can draw a card and then discard a card. So yeah, it's okay. Helps you like draw more of your non-creature spells, as opposed to while discarding the ones you don't need. I guess it's fine. At the very least, it's a big defensive creature, isn't it? And then a single Leaping Master, so 1 in a red for a 2/1. You can spend 2 in a white to give it flying until end turn, which I think is really expensive as an ability. I had no idea why 3 mana is like so much, because it has like no other way of increasing its. It's not like it's a big creature anyway, and giving it flying would make it really threatening. It's fine. It has the option. It's essentially Goblin Piker with an upside, isn't it? But yeah, it's still a little underwhelming. I think I'm not super impressed by it. A single Alabaster Kirin, so 3 in a white for a 2/3 with flying and vigilance. Yep, this is fine. Baby Serra Angel, basically. Yeah, it's okay, but I mean, when you're actual Serra Angel here, it's kind of like not a fair comparison, is it? Because I might as well skip ahead and talk about Serra Angel, which everyone knows what Serra Angel does. 3 in double white for a 4/4 with flying and vigilance, and just shows what like an extra upshift in rarity and like an extra point of mana can do, because it was giving +2/+1. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's still okay. It's still okay. And then a single High Spire Mantis, 2 a red and a white for a 3/3 with flying and trample. Again, fine, good to have like a an evasive creature which has trample. Yeah, it's okay. And then we have a single Tireless Missionaries, so 4 and a white for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. That's just a bad card. That's just a bad card. 5 mana for a 2/3 that just gains you 3 life when it comes in is not wonderful at all. It's just very overcosted. And it does nothing else. It's like not even that great a creature when it stays out. So yeah, this is again easy first cut from the deck, I think. Not wonderful at all. So the other area of the deck is Flying Crane technique, which is super fun. So 3 blue, red, and white. Instant untap all creature you control. They get flying and double strike to them 10. That's most of the time going to be like going to swing the game, I think. Because imagine attacking with all your prowess creatures. You cast this, they all untap. They all get +1/+1 from a non-creature spell. They've all got flying. They've all got double strike. So yeah, most of the time that's really going to swing a combat, I think. Yeah, really, really, really strong. I mean, it's expensive, but it's so swingy and splashy. I really like it. It's a really, really fun card to include. We've got a single Jeskai charm, so blue, red, white. At instant speed, you choose one. You either put a creature on top of its own library, which is honestly really good at instant speed, like a time ebb effect at instant speed. Does 4 damage to an opponent, which is good. 4 damage is a fairly chunky amount that could finish off a opponent who's been hit by your Flying Crane technique monks. Or creature you control get +1/+1, gain lifelink until turn 10. So yeah, just a board-wide boost and lifelink is also really strong. So again, 3 really good effects on this charm. Yeah, kind of wish there'd been more than one again, so you could potentially use all of them in a game. But yeah, really, really good. All those effects are good. A single Winter Flame, 1 a blue and a red. Choose one or both. I have no idea why you would never choose both. Well, I mean, obviously depends what the board state is, isn't it? But all the cards like this, it's always one or both, and it's just you're going to be choosing both. You either tap target creature and does 2 damage to target creature. So yeah, again, there might be board states you might only have. You might have the 1 creature on the board, but then it's why would you even cast it? Or your opponent might only have 1 creature, but yeah. Fine. Yeah, it's a good card. I like it. It's just very quintessentially blue-red, isn't it? Because it's doing something very blue and it's doing something very red at the same time. It's great. A single Crippling Chill, 2 in a blue, instant, you tap target creature, and it doesn't untap during the control's next untap step, and you draw a card, which is nice. The card draw is nice on an effect like this, I think it's okay. Single Weave Fate, 3 in a blue, instant, draw 2 cards. Again, instant speed is really nice, because, every instant, you got so many prowess creatures, every instant is essentially a combat trick for you, because, you would definitely play a card that says, 3 in a blue, draw 2 cards. Up to potentially 4 or 5 creatures you control get +1/+1 to 10. You would play that card. So yeah, really like this inclusion. A single Smite the Monstrous, 3 and a white, destroy target creatures power 4 or greater, which is an effect you want in this deck, because although your creatures can get pretty big potentially from their prowess ability, they are mostly quite small. So I actually want an effect like this to deal with a a permanently big creature that you might otherwise struggle with. So yeah. A single Lightning Strike, which is a shame. Really wish there'd been more than one. 1 in a red does 3 damage to target creature or player. Yep, it's fine. And a single Lava Axe, 4 in a red, does 5 damage to target player. Yep, it's okay. Really wish it just been 2 Lightning Strikes rather, because this is a deck that wants to play lots of cheap instants, I think, to pump up the prowess creatures. A single Divination, 2 in a blue, draw 2 cards. We all know what Divination does. A single Void Snare, a single blue mana to return a non-land permanent to owner's hand. I really wish there'd been more than one of these to get blockers out of the way and stuff. That would have been really good. And a single Solemn Offering, 2 in a white, destroy artifact enchantment. You gain 4 life. Again, bit of utility. It's okay. And then a single Oppressive Raise, 1 white mana, aura goes on a creature. It can't attack or block unless its controller pays 3, and its activated ability costs 3 more to activate. So it's kind of like a well, it's much cheaper a rest, isn't it? But with conditional. I've sort of talked about this a bit before, how this can create kind of maybe a bit of a mind game with your opponent, where if you have, say, normal arrest and it can't attack or block and it can't do anything, then they don't have to they're right, well, it's useless, I can just kind of ignore it and off to the side. But if there's always this option going, oh, I could pay 3 mana to use its ability, or oh, maybe I'll change what I'm going to do on my turn so I can actually attack or block with it, maybe that's going to interfere what they do. So these cards, I used to dismiss these, so I thought, oh, it's rubbish, because they can just just whatever, pay the mana, but it's so cheap, and I say it does cause that potential kind of indecision analysis paralysis. So yeah, I think it has a place in the game. And then we have 2 Jeskai banners, 3 mana. It's just mana rock. Sort of went off on the Abzan banner in the last video. But yeah, it gives you blue, red, or white, and you can pay blue, red, and white, tap it, and sacrifice to draw a card, which is good. And I think it's good ability to tack onto a mana rock. So when it eventually becomes unneeded, you can get benefit from it. And then we've got 2 Mystic Monasteries, which is the Jeskai Tri-land, so it comes in play tapped and gives you blue, red, or white. Yep, so yeah, really like this, perfectly good. The combination of gain lands to give you blue, red, and white in sort of that combination, so really good, like like mana fixing and stuff, and a bit of life gain, which is nice. And then 8 islands, 7 plains, and 6 mountains. Really like the art on that mountain. That is fantastic. Like the Khans of Tarkir basic land art is actually phenomenal. I don't usually talk about art that much, but like, man, really like it. I'm just actually I'm going to use that as a minor tangent. Yeah, we don't get like these kind of theme decks anymore. These intro packs. Like, I have no idea what basic land art looks like these days for like the most recent sets. I have no idea what the basic land for like March of the Machine or like Brothers War, any of those like looks like, because you don't get them in bulk. Like there's only going to be like one in a pack or whatever. So real shame. That is the real victim of the lack of intro packs and Planeswalker decks is basic lands. There we go. It's my small soapbox rant there. Right, let's talk about what could have been. So yeah, overall, I do think the deck's fairly solid. I think it could have maybe used actually a few more non-creature spells. I think there's a little bit of chaff that could have been cut, like maybe stuff like the Leaping Master and the Burning Palm Efreet. That's from Mirage. The 0/5 one that like loots. Could have cut maybe a bit of the fat there to have like some more things that care about non-creature spells. So Quiet Contemplation, I was thinking of that. So 2 in a blue, it's an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can pay 1. If you do, you freeze a creature for a turn. It's a stun effect. So that could have been useful again to get like blockers out of the way. Dragon Style Twins, I thought could have been a fun alternate rare maybe. I do really like the Flying Crane technique. That is great though. So it's tough to say. Yeah, but maybe instead of the I've forgotten the name, the actual foil face rare. Man, I am so bad with these card names because I'm just not familiar with them at all. But yeah, 3 in double red for a 3/3 with double strike and prowess, which is obviously really good. So every non-creature spell you're essentially getting double the benefit from prowess there, and also Jeskai Ascendancy. So all the clans had this an Ascendancy enchantment, but I think the Jeskai one is definitely the best one. Again, I think this would have made the deck like maybe too good, including it. But a blue, red, and white. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, all your creatures get +1/+1, and they get untapped, which is fantastic. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So every non-creature spell you play is giving you a whole board +1/+1 and untapping them and letting you draw and discard. So really strong. Definitely, I think the deck would have been too good in retrospect if this had been in here. I think it's fine as is. I think it just would have benefited from more like doubling up of the cheaper instants and sorceries maybe. But yeah, overall, I think it's like a pretty fun deck. I think it's pretty well put together for the most part. So yeah, I quite like this one. But if you've got any thoughts or comments or stories, opinions about this deck or any of the cards in it, Sage of the Inward Eye, that's what it was called. But yeah, if you've got any comments, stick them below. I'll give them a read. Always like reading people's comments. But I'll be back next time. We're going to look at another Khans of Tarkir intro pack. So until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.